Hi everyone, welcome today for the session, and I'm really happy to welcome today my friends Vikas Kumar and Raman Gupta from Aspire Infolab here in Gurgaon. And as you know, today we are going to talk about extending the Sitecore's marketing automation framework. And Vikas and Raman, they have on grounds, hands-on experience with the platform and with the marketing automation capabilities, where they have solved actual business use cases for their customers. And we will be digging a little bit deeper today in terms of understanding what they have done, how they have extended, why they needed to extend this particular platform, things which were available out of the box, and the use cases which required the customization. So we are going to talk about all these things today. The way we have divided the session is we have divided this conversation into two different parts. And today's conversation would primarily focus around introduction about the marketing automation platform. As I mentioned initially, right, why they had to extend it, how they extended it, and probably we'll see a couple of use cases there. And in the part two of the conversation, which we are going to schedule in coming days, by the most probably by the end of this weekend, is where we will take you through the details of how actually it was done at the code level, what were the changes which were required, how they integrated the Azure functions, queues, how the triggers are passed from one system to another to extend the platform. So that's how we are going to structure this conversation today. And anyone who has any questions, they are more than welcome to ask these questions in your YouTube chat window. Just post that question, and we'll take the questions as and when we have a logical stop in between or at the end of the session today, and we'll be happy to answer those questions, right? And one thing which I would also like to call out is that if you like the content of this session today, don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel and leave a comment. And if you can also post your feedback or comments during the session on the Twitter handles or on your LinkedIn profiles, tagging us, that will be really, really helpful. Okay. So I'll not take that much more of your time today, and I'll introduce Vikas, who is a senior director at Aspire Infolab. He has an experience of almost 17 years now delivering customer experience platforms on various technologies, and Sitecore is one of them. And we also have Raman Gupta, who's a technical lead at Aspires. He's a certified Sitecore developer, and he's also a certified Azure specialist, right? So he brings a lot of experience from both sides of things. So welcome, guys, and Vikas, I'm going to present your screen now, and please feel free to kick off this conversation, and please allow me to ask questions in between in case some thoughts provokes in my mind why you have done this way, why you have not done it that way. I'll stop you in between and ask those questions. All right, over to you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks giving us the opportunity. Somehow I am getting my echo. Okay. Anyway,
Uh,
so this is good now. Okay. So thanks, Gaurav and the ACG community to give us the opportunity to share what we have done with the Sitecore Marketing Automation. It's a great tool. I would say least used in multiple Sitecore implementation. But I think with this extension, what we have done, we have added a lot more endless capabilities to Sitecore Marketing Automation, which you can imagine that tool should do, and you can extend it and you can use it for any your business use cases. Right. So in terms of, I think Gaurav has well summarized about myself and the Raman on it, so will not take much of time. But I just would like to start the session with just to request everybody in community, share your knowledge with community, what you are doing, how you are doing. That definitely help. I do follow a lot, many of you, and get a lot more insight about what's going in community and how we should like implement our solution. So I think keep doing that. And if you are not doing same, I think share. There are many ways. You can write blog, you can do some webinars, you can post something on YouTube yourself. So there are multiple ways these days, and just help each other. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so about this session, so we'll start this session about why Sitecore Marketing Automation. We'll talk about some features and the architecture about the marketing automation. Then we see some real business use cases, right? And then because of those use cases, why do we have to build kind of an extension for the this for the marketing automation that using the Sitecore and the Azure capabilities, and that you will would see, and then we'll showcase a small demonstration of our extension as well. Right. Okay. I would like to start. So we all are working in Sitecore, right, and try to build the website content, website design, adding some personalization for strangers, for the unknown users, right? So we are working on forms, call to action, and again adding some more personalization based on some more insight about the customer. So we don't know anything about customer. Here we know a little bit about the customer, and we are again giving the personalization. But the customer journey doesn't end here, right? So on attracts converts, we do have to close, or we do have to convert our leads into the customers. That's why the many companies are utilizing Sitecore, and some of the companies we saw in the market are utilizing different other tools along with Sitecore. So that's actually diverting their kind of the implementation of the Sitecore or implementation of that tool in direction. They may not be able to provide the full omni-channel experience to the customers. To leverage the full Sitecore potential, we would highly recommend to utilize the Sitecore, the analytics capabilities, the marketing automation capabilities, the Sitecore personalization capabilities. Then you can resolve the spaghetti of the integration between the different tools, and you would be able to provide the truly omni-channel experience, and you would be able to save a lot of cost and the your maintenance in managing the multiple different tools. So we talk more about the content, but not about the customers. Customers definitely require a lot of effort from your side. You do have to do a lot of efforts to attract your customers, and marketing automation really helps to engage the customers with your website, with your application, and always provide the latest and the contextual information to your customer using multiple campaigns that we create into the Sitecore marketing automation. Okay, so why marketing automation? The Sitecore marketing automation. As I mentioned, the companies use multiple tools for managing their campaigns, running their different campaigns. But the benefit of Sitecore marketing automation is like you can drive the whole automation, the segmentation of your customer, personalization analytics from the single source of data. That's the Sitecore experience database. And you can extend that Sitecore experience database with not only the insight of the customer you get from your website, but you can again integrate your XDB with the multiple systems. You can bring the data or take the data from the XDB using the XConnect API easily, and that help you to give the 360 review of your customers into one single source of data. And Sitecore or marketing automation provide a new way and the approaches to create automated online campaigns, because it's the again the one more USP of the Sitecore is the connected experience. I've seen multiple tools. The people are actually losing their campaigns and their web into two different streams, but here you can provide the truly connected experience to your customers. So you can craft relevant conversions using it has like a very intuitive drag and drop interface. I hope most of you might have already seen that, right? So just drag and drop, and you can build your campaign quite easily. You can natively integrate automation with some other customer action, all customer actions within the Sitecore, or you can integrate with some third-party system actions into your XCV database as well. And you can nurture again your customer to get the maximum value out of them, and you can streamline your content interaction and responses on multiple channels. By default it has like the email. Now we'll see how you can integrate it to communicate to multiple application or multiple other gateways and the providers as well using this extension.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because just one question I have here is like, as you mentioned, right, it automates a lot of things. And generally, when I talk about development teams, right, so they are very focused on creating components and doing those sprints and building the pages, right? And most of the times, they don't give adequate attention towards what marketing automation can do for them, right? For example, just creating one page for a newsletter sign up where there is a text box to enter an email address and a button to submit it so that that user gets stored in a database, right? According to me, that's a very, very simple use case of marketing automation, right? So you can create a form using Sitecore's forms. You can put a submit button. On the click of the submit button, you can tell that which email should get triggered automatically. You don't have to write any code to trigger that email. So just wanted to add that additional information that that's the primary use
Right.
case from where you can where you can start thinking about where I apply marketing automation. And then you also might want to send an email after 7 days. Okay, you registered for an email with us a week ago, and this is a second email in the series, right? So all that can be automated without writing a single line of
Right. Yes, and you're exactly right, Gaurav. This is very simple use case that can easily be implemented using the marketing automation. Or there you can the Sitecore has the email experience manager. You can create your the customer emails over there. You can integrate your again your page with the Sitecore marketing automation, and you can again you will see in my use cases like you can send again the proactive communications somebody who has registered or somebody who has not registered onto your website for the newsletter. You can use marketing automation to actually to bring the customers to maybe to ask them to register by sending some more proactive communications to them as well. So it helps to get the customers to register for your or to sign up for your newsletters as well. It's not help to build the sign up functionalities, but it also helps to attract the customer towards the sign up functionality as
yeah
well, some with some use cases as well.
yeah yeah
Okay, so what we have seen, you can use the marketing automation for managing your digital events and the webinars, right? So if you are hosting any online event or a like offline event, you want to communicate that, yes, definitely you can simply build a page onto the site code, but you want to send some communications. So you might have a list of the customers, which you can import into Sitecore List Manager, right? And again, it's not like just one way, right? You will just send the communications to customers, but you want to see whether the customer has acted on your email or not. So my marketing automation, the help you to track how many the customers has actually act on your first email or registered for the events or webinar on your first email. You can send the second email, the very personalized, who has registered yet or who has not registered yet for your event, or maybe some reminders to them. So that's all the whole events and the webinars you can plan in the beginning, and you can just create a marketing automation that will can run for a month for the particular event, and then can solve all your problem without involving lot of the efforts during that month. You just have to set up it once and you can use it easily. And you can again duplicate it the similar kind of the marketing automation for multiple events, and again by a simple change you can do that as well. You can reuse, right? So another use case that we see in driving the customer journey, as the customer always doesn't do what you know uh, uh, you want them to do, but to bring them onto the right content, right context, Sitecore marketing automation can help you. If they have kind of, let's say, donate on your website, the next step would be maybe to do something else. So if somebody has donated, that can be a goal, and you can trigger marketing automation to redirect a customer to the second action as a part of your journey, so that they can come using the marketing automation onto that relevant journey and then follow that part as well. And that also helps to personalize the customer journey for your customer as well. So that's also one of the good use case. And again, the proactive and the contextual communication. Again, as we mentioned, like you can send multiple proactive and contextual communication to use case. Somebody who has downloaded the white paper, somebody has not downloaded the white paper. So it's all contextual, or after 7 days of downloading the white paper, whether they like it, not like it, or whether they need some the uh, kind of the related white papers or related information about that they have downloaded. So those all proactive contextual communication can be sent through the marketing automation. And one good use case, maybe most of you have maybe work in user profiling. You might have created profiles into the Sitecore, and again y- profiled your pages. But imagine your website has like a 400, 500, or in some cases 5,000 pages on your website. It's not easy to profile kind of each and every page, to add the profile card on your pages. So but easiest way for the identifying the user profile or to build the user profile is the marketing automation as well. Based on certain actions onto your website, you can actually change the profile or to update the profile features of the of Sitecore profiling as well. So that's also one of the use case as well. And again, it helps in nurturing and qualifying the leads that's coming onto your website as well, right? Again, by sending some proactive communications, or by accumulating the overall value of the customers. You can increase, okay, if somebody has visited after 7 times in 1 week, okay, so you want to increase some value of this so that you can consider the person as a qualified lead. You can automate that step. Automatically it will increase the engagement value of a customer. So those things can be done using the marketing automation as well. Okay, some quick use case, but because the events and all those things might involve, might involve some steps and some thought process, but some quick wins that you can simply that you can do if you're doing a simple use cases. Uh, you can send the other the communications, the emails. It's very simple. If you are just sending the one-way email to your customers or the text or the app notification, yes, definitely it requires some extension that we will provide you. You can easily manage the marketing list. Let's say if somebody has registered for a particular form, you want to create a marketing list inside your list manager and just add a person into the that particular list, so that it's a new person from a form, so that you can create kind of a list, and then marketing team can take those, okay, these are the users for this month. So that can be the simple one step marketing automation. And contact enrollment in your marketing campaign. So one campaign can enroll the component, the your contacts into the another uh, campaign as well. So contact enrollment, again, that can easily be done. You can say, as I talked about the profiling. So profiling is also the rules based or the action based profiling for a particular customer. So that can be done. You can execute any campaign, like sending. You might be sending a mass emailing. Okay, you got some 10,000 users list and you want to email some communication to them. You can send them like a communication to them and some follow up action for that as well. You may do that with the EXM as well, but with marketing automation, you can get bit more insight and can do bit more than the EXM. That will add value to your EXM thing. And some repeated and the reminders communication with time gap, right? So if somebody has filled the form, sends this email after 4 days or 5 days of things as well. So these are some of the quick wins, not uh, the whole use case. Like you do have to take the profiling and all those things, or the events plan all these, but you can utilize similar to that as well. So maybe I'll take a pause and will little bit hand over it to Raman to give to see how from the back end the marketing automation works. You might all have seen it's a service in your Sitecore implementation, or if you're a developer, you might have seen a service in your kind of a Windows service. If you are running it in a patch, you might have seen it's a web job running in your Azure as well, right? So it's a standalone service. Maybe over to you, Raman, to get some more insight about deep insight about the automation service.
Yep. Thanks, Vikas. Thanks for telling us what and why to use Sitecore Marketing Automation and what are the different use cases that we can utilize for marketing automation. Here, I will briefly just discuss about marketing automation service and its architecture. So basically, as you have already described, that marketing automation is a service that can be hosted as a Windows service or maybe as your web job. So while you have installed any Sitecore instance in your local machine, you might have noticed that there are a couple of services that are running as a window services. One of them is a marketing automation service, and if you are running or hosting your Sitecore instance on Azure, so this is running as a Azure web job. uh, if you are debugging your local Sitecore campaign workflow, you can use this as a console web application, that is maengine.exe, and that can be found at, I think, on marketing automation route. So yeah, these are the this is what MA service is, and why we use this, and what this service is responsible for. So this is responsible for enrolling the contacts in marketing automation plan and its all of its activity. So here on the screen you can see the bigger picture of MA service data flow. But before coming to its architecture, so let's briefly first understand what XConnect is. So on the left hand side, as you can see, there is a XConnect bar, and so this XConnect is actually not a server role. uh, XConnect is a service layer that sits between XDB and the client that wants to read or write or do any sort of like action with our experience data. In our case, this is marketing automation engine. So this is a service layer basically. And now for the marketing automation architecture, let's understand this step by step. So as on your screen, you can see there are already 1A and 1B step, but this is under one umbrella. That is, our first step is to enroll all the contacts in the processing pool database. And to enroll those data to contact in a processing pool, we have three ways to do that. First way is through XConnect. So as you can see, the 1A that is enrolling the contacts from XConnect to processing pool. So you can understand this. For instance, on your CD role, let's say create an interaction or contact, or maybe update a facet in XTB collection database through XConnect API. So our service will add work item in processing pool database. So this is first way. Second way, as you can see, through timeout worker. Now here timeout worker, you can see it is tightly integrated with a marketing automation engine. It is not like independent or like third party. So it means that this timeout worker will evaluate all the post activity within the marketing automation engine. So as I think Gaurav was asking, like if there was some cases that we want to send some newsletter to the customers after 7 days of their subscribing. So this timeout worker is responsible for handling such kind of situation. So it will evaluate such triggered marketing automation engine service, and it will evaluate like after how much time it has to enroll that contact, and it has to process that contact for further activities. Now, third way, that is 1C, it is through operation API. So we have a couple of APIs to enroll our contacts into a marketing automation engine. So one is marketing operation API, other one is XConnect client API. So as you can see here on the screen, that this 1C or this operation API is not enrolling the data into processing pool, but it is directly enrolling the data into our marketing automation engine. So this is the key difference. So 1A and 1B means XConnect or timeout worker, they enroll the data into our processing pool database, but any operation API or any enrollment done through any API, this will get priority, and they contacts will directly get enrolled into a marketing operation workflow. Now,
So Raman, if I am sorry, Raman, there's a question
yeah,
from me.
sure, Gaurav.
So, if I understand it correctly, if I have to do something real time, right? If some user has taken an action, we want to trigger, let's say, an SMS or a WhatsApp message to that user based upon that action, then Operation API is something that we should be using because it will directly change the state of that user and would put it under a particular state of a
Yes,
marketing
yes,
automation, right?
that's totally correct, Gaurav. So, like, if we want
Okay.
to send any real-time SMS or email, we can make this as a live event. And live events are nothing but the enrolling the contact through Operation API, and it will always get priority and will get directly enrolled into our marketing automation. But this scenario can be done sometime in different ways. So, like, we want to send SMS. To the customer, but we want to send some, let's say we want to send some additional tokens to that. So in that way, we can utilize the XConnect API to resolve the token on the runtime. So, but yes, that's the use
Sure.
case. We can use the Operation API.
Okay.
Okay. Now the second part is after enrolling our contact into a processing pool database, our marketing automation engine constantly processing the processing pool database and will take out those contacts from this database. And now after this, the third part is marketing automation activities will evaluate all the contacts, which includes like evaluating conditions. So here we we know that now our contacts have been enrolled into our automation workflow. Now this is marketing automation workflows responsibility to process those contacts for further communication or like for further actions. So if we can take example, let's say we want to send email or SMS to customers whose name starts with, let's say, Vikas. So our marketing automation will first evaluate the custom listener that have that has a rule. Maybe we can define a custom rule. It will filter out those contacts like whose first name is Vikas. And then second part is to send communication in form of like email or SMS or anything. So it will now send email to those customer whose first name is Vikas. So this is the third part, to evaluate all the enrollments based on their like activities or actions, whatever we have defined in that particular campaign. Now, after all this, our marketing automation will output all the contacts and report against each contact that this contact has been part of which all activity at what time this contact has been entered into particular marketing automation flow and at what time it got exit. So everything will get reported in our collection database. But apart from that, our marketing automation database also will record all those sort of output into this enrollment database. So let's say if after 1 month we want to find out like what this particular marketing automation campaign, how many enrollments were there, so we can use this database and use the marketing operation API to find out like how many enrollments were there in this. So yeah, this was just the high level of our service architecture for marketing automation. I will hand over to Vikas for further part of our presentation.
Reported into this part. And I see, Gaurav, I think there's a lot of again the possibility from the Sitecore point of view to extend it further, because I see, I think it provides the reports about the context, but I think we can further probably enhance the reporting part into marketing automation. The client expect a bit more part as well onto that. So okay, so okay, let's see some the default elements. Then we go back to the Azure part, right? And we'll showcase the demonstration for that as well. So by default, how the marketing automation kind of work. So as you can see here, the marketing automation, it's just a step of the activities. So or it always start with start, right? So start can be any trigger on your website or any third party system that can be hooked the information into the XConnect, and that can be a starting point. So we can build kind of our custom rule set editor we can use if we do have some custom condition to start anything, or simply we can enroll a marketing list into the marketing automation that may have one or multiple kind of the contacts into it. So the marketing automation will work kind of the one to one for each contacts comes into the marketing automation plan. And then we do have the marketing actions, right? So as you can see here, we do have the multiple actions: change behavior profile value that used for managing the profiling, the site code profiling that I told you, like that. It's not about you just have to add the profile card onto the pages. Profile values or profile things can be managed from marketing automation as well, and that is bit quicker and better way, because that is act on certain actions on your website as well. You can again increase the engagement value. That also helps in managing your the lifetime value or the qualifying leads, all these things to a particular value. So that helps into that as well. And you can, it's not just increase, you can decrease as well. You can send email, and here you can have multiple kind of the options available. You can select an EXM, uh, which email you want to send it. You can add a contact to a list if that's a part of this marketing automation, and based on some certain conditions, you can remove a person from a list, right? And you can update consent settings about whether they opted or not opted, those things, or you can validate their email address. So if they have maybe responded onto your email, then you validate their email address. Yes, that was correct. So these are the default actions available in Sitecore Marketing Automation, and and we will provide you in maybe in next slide, like where you will see how you can extend with multiple the custom actions easily, right? And another important aspect of the marketing automation is the listeners, because we don't just want to perform the action one by one. We want to kind of the performs the action based on some certain conditions, some activity triggered in your website or some custom listeners. Again, here you can create your the custom conditions as well, and some conditions are predefined over here, right? Say if you send one email to them, okay, after 4 days of the email, not just after sending the 4 days, but after clicking of the 4 days, if they click on any of the link onto the email, and then after 4 days you want to send, so then there you use some certain those things, goal triggered or custom listeners or some outcome. Again, these are the site code things that you can capture, and you can visit listeners as well. It's the first visit, second visits, and those sort of things. You can have the multiple, and you can create your custom listeners as well. That also we'll be talking about. Also, there are some other elements over here, like delay. You can simply add a delay between the marketing activities. It can be in minutes, seconds, or in days as well. You can move a contacts to another campaign. If like here, move to another campaign. So if something has done, you want to enroll that particular contact customer into another campaign, or you want to remove a person from this campaign, and you can return to start. Maybe in here somewhere you want to just start the whole activity once again for that particular user. So these are some other elements that are available by default into the Sitecore things. So now we see why do we have to extend, and why this is not enough. The Sitecore has provided a lot, but why this is not enough for that. One thing is, see, Sitecore is not a tool built for a particular industry or a particular domain. That's why like in your FISA data that Sitecore capture, you will see the general information about the customer, their address, emails, and all these things, but not about the product. It's an insurance product, or it's a kind of any marketing service that you are selling, or you are selling any maybe the electronics product. They don't know about. So you do have to bring some custom facet data and you want to take some actions based on those data as well, right? So what preference of the customer, it's a new customer or an old customer, what product the customer has bought, what level of customer in our company. So once you have those custom data, right, again to bring into the HCV, you want to utilize that data into the Sitecore marketing automation, then you need to extend those things as well. And again, default, the Sitecore marketing automation provides the maybe the communication to using the emails. But suppose you do have to send a SMS or text or WhatsApp message or any application notification from here, then you need to extend the marketing automation, and it's quite easy as well to extend. And you want to have the custom segmentation, like you are enrolling a list, but sometimes you don't want to enroll the whole list into it. You want to enroll list based on the segmentation of your users, right? And then again, you need to create custom segment rules for that. And then and also the marketing automation rules, where we have seen for custom listeners and all those things. So rules can be created for that as well. And also you want to integrate these our contact information, or you want to do some action may be performed by some other application, right? So you want to give the data just simply to that application, and that application is responsible for performing some actions, because that action, you don't want to bring that action within the site code, right? So you can, while you bring the custom actions, you can do everything on that custom actions, but we prefer kind of to asynchronous task, because that may take a 1 second or a nanosecond or might be few minutes as well, right? So you don't want to hamper the other activities, right? So marketing automation deals with so many campaigns, so many contacts, so many things, right? So we just want to deal with some third party application asynchronously, so that helps. So marketing, for that also you need to extend the marketing automation. I think, Gaurav, we are good. I'm just getting into the fun part now.
Sure.
Great. Okay. So again, here you will see here the how typically the Sitecore marketing automation works. On the left hand side, as you can see here, we just have the start and the send email. So that's the one of the actions. So that's it. And that marketing automation, let's say this, anybody is a part of some list, right? That will be part of that marketing automation and will send an email. So that's a simple use case that you can do using the marketing automation. But what if your you don't want to send an email, you want to kind of integrate, right, something else. You want to send a WhatsApp notification, you want to send a WhatsApp message, you want to send a SMS, or you want to send the customer information to some third party system, right? So there's a lot of, for like, how many custom actions you will build inside the Sitecore automation. So what we thought, we could, to use the Sitecore the Azure functionalities, what we have done, we have sent a simple message, right, to Azure queue with some more some information about the customer and the action that wants to right, that we want to take from that particular action. And Sitecore, the Azure, then you can utilize this Azure Logic app. You can utilize the Sitecore, sorry, the Azure functions, or maybe some other services, some custom services, any other services that can read your Azure queue and can perform those actions. So that's, and that's a asynchronous task. You are not hampering the performance of your Sitecore marketing automation, right? You are not hampering any other activity that performed by the Sitecore. It's a very quick, very nanosecond activity just to put the message into the queue, and rest of the jobs will be done automatically. One more step that may be required, because this message, if you see the message here, like simply we have added like a text box. You can add any message over here, like the first name, last name, or a person email, or a person product, any information about a customer that you want to send it to the queue. You can just put it at like the dollar, first name dollar, as we use the tokens in email or in some other way as well. So what we have done, we have written a custom kind of a function again after this, which actually resolves all these tokens and add our kind of the message to Azure queue. So, so here you can see this method will just resolving and with adding into the Azure queue. And in some way, the extension also as well, like in Sitecore Marketing Automation, if you are doing some custom listeners as well, you might have to create some custom marketing rules as well, same as the segmentation rules. Most of you may have worked on to the personalization rules. It's a very similar theory, and theoretically, it works in the same rule set editor, but the classes and the are a little bit different, and the logic is a little bit different. That's how you do the input output of your code is different. That we will be talking into the next session. In our next session, we will dive onto the code part here, how these rules are different from the personalization rules. So they are simpler as but we took some time to figure it out how they are a little bit different, and I think uh, it's good to understand between the rules of personalization, segmentation, and the marketing rules over here as well. Also, yes. So once the message is in queue, right? Similarly, this is the Azure queue. You see this message. You can create any Azure Logic app or Azure function that can read that queue and can perform the action. See, the good part function, the Azure function is they are the serverless. You can host your piece of code that can be a 2-line code or a 20-line code. And Azure function has some inbuilt functionalities as well. Even some functions you may not require to even to code as well, that you can utilize there as well. So by simply integrating your the Azure storage queue and the function, you're now you don't have to worry about any custom action. If you add that action for a simple, any person who knows the Azure function, .NET, all these things can do magic using the Sitecore automation, because it's now up the power that comes into the developer hands, and you can utilize the Azure capabilities over here, right? So you're not limiting yourself to your 6 actions, 10 actions that Sitecore has provided, but now you have the endless capabilities to extend the Sitecore marketing automation to do whatever you want to do. All right, so we found it quite uh, useful in performing multiple actions. Like to give you some bit more insight. That's how it comes up. The first name, last name. That's kind of the automatically resolved by our section. This is the message that we have given. Sorry, and then the Azure queue storage, right? So this is my function that can read that queue. As soon as this anything comes into the queue, that function can work, right? Or this Azure function has the functions like time based. Okay, you want to run it every night or every hour or something. So it has an inbuilt timer as well. So we'll talk about a little bit about the Azure functions in our next sessions. A little bit more deep dive into the Azure function, and you can write a piece of code, or it has some output, like it has few services like Tuilio SMS. That's a service automatically available on Azure that can be just drag and drop. You can build hooked with the Azure functions, and so your message, like this is a test message, can be delivered to Steven from here, right? So that's something that can be easily be done. Or so okay, so maybe I'll just quickly showcase my uh, the Chrome screen just to see it working, how it is working, and the code part, as I mentioned, that we will see it in next session. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me bring my site code here on the screen. Hope you are able to see my site code. Okay, it might have logged out. I need to log in again. Anyway, magic password. Okay, let me try it now. It works. Okay, so you can see here, I do have this Sitecore Marketing Automation, and I do have my custom the action that we have created, send message to queue. If I click here, I can say, okay, this method is to send the SMS, hi, first name, right? Welcome to Sitecore user group, right? Something. And if required, like, okay, if I have to send the maybe the send the mobile number as well, so I can just say dollar phone number, right? So that will be added to here. Definitely, the phone number would be required to send the message over there. So welcome to Sitecore user group session. That will be that we can see this message into the Azure queue. And again, I do have this from this one. I want to save this data to some my ERP system, right? Again, I've just copied the same message, but you can utilize the same action for doing multiple things. And again, now it's up to your Azure function who is actually looking into this queue, right? Okay, so just to demonstrate it, what I have done, we have added a condition on start. If a new contact comes in a list, the marketing automation will start for a particular for that particular user. So if I go to my test list and add a new contact here, right? Okay, let's say demo at the rate sitecore.com, sitecore demo. Okay, so I just save that. This is success. Now in marketing automation, it will start with magic. So earlier I just run this particular action with 3 contacts, as you can see the report view of the marketing automation, and this one is with 2. So now this one has 4 and 3. It will take a while. In the meantime, I'll just showcase you the my Azure queue. It also will be refreshed. Okay, give it a minute. I hope it's not signed out from here. No, yeah, I think it's signed out. I need to re-log in onto the, okay, oh, it's coming. Okay, as you can see, I run this for a couple of the contacts earlier. So as you can see, like for each, I've run this twice. So this ERP SMS, this messages queue is coming here, and this queue can be read by my Azure functions, and you will see maybe if it works on the demo time, you will see 2 more values over here. This queue can be read by the Azure function over here, queue trigger 1, right? So this is my function, the Azure function that can read this queue and can do the magic, whatever I want to, the perform any actions. So as I was saying, you can write a piece of code for this function, or you can directly add the output, right? So take this input and add out the output. There are few the Azure capabilities available right here. So what you want to do, you can use SendGrid or Twilio Estimate, SignalR, or there's some other capabilities that you can utilize. Send it to Event Hub. That's again a uh, use for flow of your information using the Azure capabilities. So you can do, and or you can write your piece of code that will demonstrate maybe into the next section. So let me see if my automation has worked or it has stopped. If it is work, but anyway, it will come kind of yes, I think it has increased 4 or 3. So now I think little bit it should have something shortly here, or it might not be refreshing. Sometimes it took it time. Yeah, it's refreshed now. right? So as you can see the hi Sitecore, so that's the first name that we have added over here in my marketing automation. If I go back to this one, I have added the hi first name. You can add phone number or anything, the all the detail that will be resolved by one of the actions. So that was the small demonstration, but deep dive onto this, how these things are working, how we have extension. Uh, this is working. We'll take into the next session. Yeah. Okay. So I go back to my presentation now. Okay. So any more question and answer, Gaurav, from your side or for anybody?
So because I'm still waiting for any questions from the audience, but we haven't received any so far. But I have one or two questions which I would like to ask here. So I understand sending of an SMS or a WhatsApp message is not available out of the box inside core marketing automation, and it requires an extension point, right? So how much effort was involved initially, right? How much time you have to go through the documentation, and was the documentation helpful? How was that
It
experience?
was like I would say the experience is definitely was exciting and it was good. And we initially we figured out a few things from the documentation, but as always, I think we there was few missed parts, so we need to reach out to a couple of times to the site core support team. That was really helpful, and we figured out most of our issues. And it doesn't take a lot of time to us. It's I would say 4 to 6 weeks. Is not just for the custom actions, but we have built a lot of the rules as well for marketing automation and for the list segmentation as well. But it was like 4 to 6 weeks of the overall time of the implementation. But good things maybe for the community as well. We are planning to give our effort as an kind of it. As a ready to use tool to add the custom action for Azure queue on Sitecore Marketplace that we are planning to submit in a week time, maybe on Sitecore Marketplace, and it depend upon maybe authorization from Sitecore again to be available for the community to use it directly. You would be able to just download it, install it, and your messages will coming onto the will start coming onto your queue, and then you can just write your own functions, whatever you want to do, and you can simply find a lot of functions available over the net or over the things to for a lot of functionalities that you would like to do.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm assuming because Azure already has got connectors to services like Twilio, right, which can send an SMS or a WhatsApp
Right.
message, any
Yes.
other systems, right? And you can directly hook those services without writing even a single line of code. Just map your data, and it is ready to go. Yeah,
Yes, and capabilities like it's not the Azure functions. If you hook your Azure Logic app that have has the full workflow, maybe half of the
yeah,
workflow that can be run within the site core and some workflow within the other system. You want to work outside of the site core, then you can use the Azure Logic app capabilities. You can run that message at different steps in the Azure Logic app, and then you can do wonders from the
yeah.
Azure capabilities.
Yeah, yeah. And if I may say, right, so this is one way of doing it. But if, like, let's say some of the customers or implementation partners, they are hosting Sitecore on other cloud vendors like AWS, right? So they can very well use corresponding Lambda functions and AWS queues to achieve the same functionality, right?
Exactly, exactly. I like similarly maybe in next session where we will be saying how we have built this custom action, so that will actually help them to how they can simply change something that can they can leverage the code just to implement the Lambda function or maybe any other services as well.
Sure. So my last question is is this customization, have you deployed it for a customer and is it running in production at the moment, or are you still in a development phase and yet to go live with this?
It's already kind of the half live for one of our
Okay.
customers, right?
Okay.
So not into the same shape as you are looking. They are
Okay.
definitely a little bit more things, different functions, and all those things over there. But for simplicity, we have added like the send message to kind of the queue. But yes, it's working very well into the production environment as well.
All right, so which proves that it's a proven kind of a piece of tech which we have developed. All right, so I have a question from my audience, and it's from Javed. Javed says, "How does CRM data fits into the picture, and possible actions in adaptation adaptation the marketing strategy?" So I'm assuming that's a straightforward thing, right?
Yeah, that's again for the CRM integration. There's a separate way as well. But if you're maybe the if you want to use the marketing automation to send something to the CRM, again you can write a simple the Azure function that can call the CRM API, and you can pass all the details from marketing automation to the Azure queue. That function can read and can send the data to the CRM. But this is just one way. CRM has a bigger picture, right? And there's a connector available for the CRM as well. But that can be used if your use case is as simple as just to put something into the CRM. That can be utilized for that as well. And Azure has a CRM connector as well that can also be leveraged. The Azure functions and all those things. So the Azure has a CRM connector that can be leveraged as well.
All right. All right. I think that's pretty much all the questions from my end as well as from the audience for today. And I think it was a great session today, Vikas. We got a lot of information around how you would extend the marketing automation and why would you extend it, what is available out of the box and what is not. And I'm looking forward for the next session and go a bit deeper into how the code works and how the Azure functions that you have written, how those works. And
Yeah.
I will see all the audience next week. And
Yeah.
before we sign off, I just want everyone who watched this today, it'll be great if you can give us a feedback as a comment or a thumbs up. That'll be really helpful for us to improve the content of our webinars. And we'll see you soon again, most probably by the end of this week. And we'll confirm the next session dates and the link on our LinkedIn as well as Twitter channel. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Raman. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next session. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.